Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Mystery Sports Podcast. Obviously, today the roundup of the weekend of all the sports action, WSL, Rochdale Women's, the F1, and obviously currently now is the US Open Men's Final. So if we just get into it straight away, obviously the WSL, the first game week of the WSL this week. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So first WSL game week this week, and obviously we kicked it off with a huge game, Chelsea versus Manchester City, a 2-1 win. Obviously for Chelsea, very good start for them. Obviously tough start, another tough start for City. I think they will come back definitely stronger. Sorry. So then you got Arsenal versus London City. Arsenal dominant through that game, 4-1. That was scoreline was. I think with the Arsenal are just going to be too powerful for the London City, and I do think London City, with it being their first season in the WSL, I do think that they will be struggling quite a lot this season. However, they did show signs, obviously scoring that goal there, that they can score. So hopefully that's a positive for them and they can improve on this season. So Tottenham versus West Ham, another London derby, 1-0 to the Spurs. Spurs, obviously, they've played quite well. Obviously, they've managed to get that goal. Fair play to them. Actually, probably the standout scoreline of the weekend, Man United 4, Leicester City 0. Manchester United, very, very good today. Ellertoon, brilliant. Mallard, brilliant. And who else was it? Oh, I've just completely forgot her name. Sorry, this is really bad. Taylor, brilliant performance from all of them. Obviously, they were all 4 goal scorers there. Mallard obviously scoring twice. Just, I think, dominant performance from United, and I think it just shows that to the rest of the league that United aren't just there to be walked over and to be looked over. I think United are there making a statement by winning 4-0, obviously at the top of the table now. I mean, even though it's the first game of the week, the season, they look like they want to win this league. They want to go to that next step and push Chelsea right to the end, and also just not fall into that gap where they're having to chase. They want to chase like the second place, like City, Arsenal. They want to make sure they go and win that WSL or comfortably get that second place. Obviously, the Merseyside derby as well. Liverpool got absolutely thumped by Everton 4-1. Obviously, and I expected it to be a much close game, but Everton very clinical 4-1 victory. Obviously away at Liverpool as well, so tough game for them. Obviously, then you have Brighton versus Aston Villa. Probably it was a 0-0. From watching the highlights, it looked like there were opportunities for both sides, but they were just like that clinical edge there. Then I think with the WSL, obviously the first fixtures now, it's quite hard to tell in who's going to absolutely. You can't just say United are going to dominate this league, because I think Arsenal can easily score and beat City, United, possibly Chelsea. Chelsea could easily go and win it unbeaten again, and City can obviously they can always bounce back. And I think United, on their point of view, United could easily go and score those goals. However, I think when it comes to those top sides like they're playing, the Chelseas, the Arsenals, the Cities, even the Liverpools, they can't be dropping points there. Like last year, they dropped a point. They dropped the point against Liverpool at home. Obviously, being 2-0 up, and you should be obviously converting that into a victory at the end of the day. But obviously, hopefully, Mark Skinner's got the girls prepared and obviously motivated to go and win that league. Now, quickly moving on to the F1. Obviously, it was the Italian Grand Prix this weekend, and obviously a lot of expectation of Ferrari to go and win, to go and do really well at their home race. Obviously, it was quite unfortunate. The winner of the race was Max Verstappen. Is he back? Are Red Bull back? Who knows? But I think it was a comfortable victory for him, 19 seconds ahead of the Papayas. Obviously, Norris second and Piastri third. So obviously, it's good to see that Verstappen can win a race and McLaren aren't just running away with it. So Leclerc fourth, Russell fifth, Hamilton sixth. I think obviously it's a good performance from the Ferrari, especially Lewis, obviously from P10 after his 5-place grid penalty. Obviously Leclerc always doing well at Monza. He tends to do quite well there. Um, Albon 7th, Bartoletto 8th, Kimi Antonelli in his home race 9th. So yeah, I think and Hadjar 10th. So Hadjar obviously making a lot of grounds up from his qualifying. I mean, Bartoletto, another great performance there from him, and Antonelli also getting into the points. And I think Antonelli, with the time, it's gonna improve slowly but surely. Antonelli will improve, and we'll get there. And I think Mercedes have got a bit of a job on their hands because they need to sign drivers. Because next year, currently, they've got no one driving. I think Russell's very harsh not to be already signed up, and I think Antonelli. I think Toto Wolff should go with Antonelli. They, I think they've invested so much into him, and they really, really do buy into the idea of having Kimi Antonelli, an Italian driver, as the future kind of. Obviously, then the people who didn't score points in the race, obviously Carlos Sainz 11th, Ollie Behrman 12th, Yuki Tsunoda 13th, Lawson 14th, Ocon 15th, Pierre Gasly 16th, Franco Colapinto 17th, Stroll 18th, and then the two DNFs, Fernando Alonso and Hulkenberg. Obviously disappointed for Alonso and Hulkenberg to be disappointed. Stroll, still another poor performance, really. I think that was quite. We shouldn't be seeing Stroll 18th, especially with the car that Aston Martin do have. So obviously that'll be interesting to see there. Now onto the Rochdale women's game. So I was at the game today. Rochdale Women went on to win 3-2 against Walton in the FA Cup qualifiers round one. Obviously, it was a very, very interesting game. From a neutral's perspective, you could see that it was quite an end-to-end game, obviously, with it being 3-2. I think from watching it in the first half, Rochdale started really well. They were for the first 15, they pinned them in their Walton in their own box and was literally peppering them with shots. And unfortunately, it was 0-0, and I think it should have been about 3-0 in that stage of the game. Then after then Walton started to get control of the game, started playing it round and things. Then luckily Rochdale managed to get 1-0 up at half time, so it was quite good. Then obviously second half kick off, Walton equalise and they start getting growing confidence in the game. Literally straight after Rochdale go and score, and you're like, this is such a great game. Then then the Walton start getting back into the game. They managed to get it 2-2. And at this point in the game, Walton are constantly on Rochdale, and Rochdale, they looked quite. They looked like they were struggling at times. However, I do think that the girls stuck together quite well. The team really, really dug in and made sure that they didn't concede any more goals, and obviously went on to go and score Neve with the winner 3-2. It was brilliant, brilliant goal. And I think Rochdale could have easily won that game if they were a bit more clinical. They could definitely have gone and won that game about 5-2, or even 6-2 possibly. But overall, they had a really good game, and from a neutral's perspective, it was a really entertaining watch. Literally back and forth goal, another attack and hitting the post, hitting the bar, things like that. Brilliant, brilliant spectacle. And I think from Rochdale's perspective, I do think that Erin had a brilliant game today. Just the way that she was on the ball, trying to look forward, making sure she could get that pass off, and obviously helping the other teammates around her. I think she was really brilliant today, and just constantly, obviously, she got her goal, a brilliant goal lob over the keeper for the first one. I think it was brilliant from her, just to get that kind of get that goal was just brilliant. I think even I give credit to Daisy as well. I thought she had a very good game. She created quite a few chances on that right hand side. I think Rochdale looked very dangerous on that right hand side. Every time they go down that right hand side, they put a beautiful ball in. And sometimes Sophie Coates sometimes can't get on the end, but she is usually there in the right position. I think it's really positive for Rochdale women this year. I think they can go really far in the FA Cup and also in the league as well. Obviously, sitting joint top, I think they could definitely easily go and win that league if they obviously are more clinical and are defensively sound. I think obviously with the coaches and stuff, Martin and Lee, they're always willing, and Jordan, they're always willing to get the girls, making sure that they are tight defensively and not leaking, like letting people run past them, things like that. And I think from the coaches' perspective, they did a really good job today, especially with the subs. despite any little criticism that could have happened. I think subs did really well, and also I think that overall it, it was just a great game, like I said before. And I think obviously Rochdale deserved to go and win that game. I think they should have won it by more, but they are through to the round two qualifiers. So hopefully, with that favourable draw, Rochdale can have a bit of an easier game through and obviously go and get into the actual FA Cup, go into the round one, because I'd love to see them there. Be a brilliant, brilliant spectacle, especially if they can get home draws and play at the Crown Isle Arena. Sorry, it will be a fantastic affair, and I think the Rochdale fans as well definitely should get down there. And even if you aren't a Rochdale fan, you should definitely go down there and support them because I think it opens up something different. Instead of just watching the men's game, you can also watch the women's game, and I think even though there's slight differences, it's still a very entertaining watch. Like, how many games do you see having like today where the goals are back and forth? There's attacking at one end, then another team's attacking, and I think with the men's game, obviously you do see that, but I think especially with the women's game and now it's developing so well, there's a lot of more attacking phases of the games, and there are a lot of very entertaining points, especially when like they're hitting the post quite often, obviously having quite a few chances defensively, getting stuck in with the challenges. I think it's really good, and I think a lot of people should start going to those games, and especially with it being not as expensive as a men's game, it's so accessible for people to come down. Like especially if you're a Man United fan wanting to watch the United women's, you could easily make yourself down to Leeds Sports Village. Tickets aren't too highly priced, and even like if you go into the Rochdale women's game, if they when they play at Scotland, brilliant, brilliant atmosphere. Like last weekend, there was quite a few people who turned out there, and it'd be good to see more and more people coming. So just a quick bit on there for Rochdale. Well done on them getting into the second round of qualifying. So now, obviously, currently is a probably the most anticipated final we've ever had in tennis. And I mean, they've faced each other quite a lot of times, Alcaraz and Sinner. So Sinner being the world number one and Alcaraz being the world number two. The Spaniard is currently winning 2-1 in the final. He's one set away from obviously getting that US Open title. At the moment, it is 1-1 in the final set or possible final set. Obviously, if Sinner does go and manage to win this set, he will bring it down to a tiebreaker. See a final set, winner takes all. Sorry, I've got a bad throat. Obviously, currently, little mini watch along here. I think with the tennis at the moment, obviously Alcaraz just looks world class. His forehands are brilliant. They're absolutely destroying Sinner. However, Sinner seems to just doesn't want to give up here. Obviously, he is 40-15 up in this the third game that they're playing right now. A lot of you people who might not watch tennis, I think it is good to start watching the tennis, especially when you've got Sinner, who are very, very young. Obviously, Alcaraz being 20 and Sinner being slightly older. I think, yeah, I think it opens up a younger generation for the sport. And so Sinner just took the set there, not the set of the game there, so he's 2-1 up in the fifth set. But like I was saying, I think if you're starting to watch the tennis and you have all these young guys here, obviously um, on a rise, obviously the golden generation of Murray, um, Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal. Obviously, they've starting to retire now. Obviously, Djokovic is the only one left. I think the younger generation could get involved into tennis because it is a very entertaining sport. It's fast paced, and just the physique on these players, especially in the women's game as well, is fantastic. Obviously, Ariana Sabalenka won the women's US Open final yesterday, and obviously the world number one, as she is, played brilliant. And I think even a lot of young girls could get inspired by her, even and look up to her as a bit of a role model because they are very, very talented athletes. And I honestly, I quite enjoy watching the sport because of these young people and how athletic they are and how inspirational they are towards not only just myself, but to the way that they raise awareness to the other people, things like that. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to get back to watching tennis. Um, you should all watch it because it is very, very good. Hope you have a good start of the week, good week as well. Hopefully, a couple of new transfers might be happening, like an Anna. Obviously, we've got the Here We Go today, but we want to make sure that it is official. And obviously, international break, England obviously winning. Next game is on Tuesday, away at Serbia, I think it is. I'm not too sure, but I'll definitely do a stream on that. I hope you have a good week and catch you all in a bit. See you.